Hey, we are back again. It is Mr. Fox, and this is the I Refuse podcast. I mean, at this point, I'm not even going to count the episodes in the season. I'm just going to continue to make content as I'm inspired. So, this is like the first week. This is the first week of this coronavirus pandemic lockdown situation. I know my job came out officially this past Monday saying that we are to telework for 2 weeks, this week and next week. Um, and I started to like sit there and I was like, oh shit. I've survived a lot of stuff in my life. I mean, you're talking bombings and the Persian Gulf War and riots, um, all kinds of shit in my life, right? So why like I get to this point and I get to this thing and I try not to be all hysterical like most people are. I know I saw a lot of people out there just running to get all bunch of shit like it was Y2K all over again, getting all this milk. And I'm thinking, by the time you get to, I guess, the second or third gallon, that shit's going to expire. Like, what's the point of picking up all this milk with the same expiration date? What the fuck is that all about? And like people are fighting each other over toilet paper and fighting each other over like meat and all this other stuff. I mean, never mind the fact that they left the vegetables alone. Never mind the fact that they left pretty much more important, like more healthy stuff alone. They went straight for the meat, straight for the dairy, straight for the toilet paper, and possibly the bread. But they didn't really get anything healthy. Like, I don't know why it's people's first reaction to a pandemic or an event is to be hysterical and irrational and all this other shit. I kept it level headed. I'm like, I understand this is for real. I mean, I understand people are going around wearing the surgical mask and buying up all this hand sanitizer. Little do they know that, like, after a long term use of hand sanitizer, it wears down your immune system, which is perfect for the virus. But nobody even thought about that before they went and bought like pallets loads of hand sanitizer. It got so bad that the attorney general in one of the states had to issue a mandate or something to where they got people to go to this guy's storage facility unit and basically force their way in and take all this guy's hand sanitizer because he had bought up all this hand sanitizer and was hoarding it. I mean, it was an abnormal amount. Like, nobody on earth needs that much hand sanitizer. But this is the state of the world, right? And I got to thinking, like, you're doing all this for something that is not that is very serious, but it's not a rampant contagion situation where it's like, as soon as I touch you or I'm near you, you have it. Or it's very easy for all of us to get sick from person to person. It's more so a large gathering kind of thing, and more so international travel. I know it's getting closer and closer to home. I mean, telling people that I know, especially in roommate situations where they have a roommate that went to a conference over the weekend and they came home and they tested positive for coronavirus, so they're under the impression that they have it. So everybody in the house has to be quarantined until they have a game plan in place. So it's not to that point. It's still very serious. However, it's not an end of the world, end all be all kind of situation. Thankfully, the CDC is doing their part, and The governor's doing his part, and the powers that be are trying best as they can to their ability to limit further exposure. And yet and still, people are still going out to large gathering spots, to the beach, to the bar, to wherever large amounts of people are. They're still going to these gay events, and people are coming back positive for coronavirus. Now, as a person that is very particular, not I wouldn't say particular, but just very conscious and very aware that personal space is a living thing. It is actually real. Um, I just don't get the attraction. Like, I mean, yeah, you want to, you need a break, but it's like this shit just went off the charts recently. Like, I mean, it's been going for a while, but when it gets to a point that the government and all the agencies are acting, and like cities and states are like forcing people to close large gathering spots, watering holes, bars, so on and so forth, and people are out of jobs for X amount of weeks, when do people just slow down and sit and think and practice some kind of stillness in all of this? Why is it? Why is the first reaction to to do the complete opposite of what is advised? I mean, I as somebody that's into my personal space and doesn't want to want people to be considerate of it, the last thing I want to do is to go out and be around more people. And I'm more of an introvert anyway at heart. Even I'm more like I guess an extroverted introvert. Um, I would rather much be at home than go out of my way to be around a lot of people unnecessarily. Um, I I understand. Uh, it's certainly it's probably going to get the reaction's probably going to get worse, or the precautions are going to be more extensive to where they'll probably extend the amount of time they want people to be isolated in their own homes. I think I read somewhere that they wanted to possibly extend it to 18 months, which is bananas. Um, I know 2 weeks is a good start, but I think it's going to expand beyond that. I don't know if where this will take us, but I think the more people push and resist against what's advised, the more this is going to be prolonged and the more this thing is going to play out. And they may ramp it up to a point to where they will have cops on the streets, reinforce a curfew like they did with the riots about 5 years ago, to limit movement, to limit exposure, to really wake people up to the idea that this shit is actually real. And the last place you want to be is around other people. I mean, it's very scary to think of something where a person doesn't show symptoms, but they test positive for it. Um, and people are still not hearing it and still not marinating on it and still not taking it seriously. And I just wish people would wake the fuck up, be conscious and be aware. And as somebody that typically has a go against the grain kind of attitude, again, like I said in a previous episode, I pick and choose my battles. I pick and choose when to resist or when to be an individual. It's not always to the benefit of the end game, to resist all the time, and it's not always to the benefit of your own individual growth and development to resist all the time. I know in my professional experience, I would come into an office or an environment where we're all pretty much doing the same job. And, I see that a lot of people are missing out on opportunities because they are so resistant to the day to day requests that they're being asked. Some people will be like, well, that's not my job. Other people will be like, oh, I'm not doing that. And it takes them long to get out, to move up. I know I know that I have a lot of talents that people tap into and people recognize, and I would be pulled into certain things. And the important thing is to remain flexible and to remain open to the change that's going on around you. And I think that having that, I guess, what is that? Not a multiplier, but a quantifier, I guess, to or an addendum to the I refuse attitude. It's you can be both. You can be different and individual, but also be in line to when it comes to life and death and your health and safety. It's not cute to be dead. It's not cute to be sick and have a painful death. I mean, there are people literally dying. There's like 100 people that died in Maryland alone from the coronavirus, I believe. And there's more people that have died from this coronavirus across the country. It pales in comparison to other countries. I know Italy has it the worst right now. And, the UK is out in the public, like the citizens are out, like, the weather finally broke, we're out, we're drinking, just passing each other and being in close quarters with one another and just not giving a flying fuck. And I'm like, this could totally be the catalyst for widespread like mayhem and widespread like I don't know. In the meantime, I'm gonna keep my black ass in the house and keep an eye on my what they call it, the quarantine snacks. I'm glad I went to the grocery store a while back. I mean, I'm not a big eater. I tend to eat and keep consistent to the levels in food that I have during the week. It's a little monotonous, but hey, that food will last me for a while. Um, so yeah, like I was just upstairs earlier, just thinking, and just inspired to kind of reinforce a little bit of positivity. I'm not always in a certain headspace, um, like I am in previous episodes. I mean, all this stuff that I've experienced and all this stuff in life is serious to me. As someone that has been affected by so many different things, positively and negatively, here I am. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time and just reflect on this whole thing and just instill some optimism and instill some retrospection into this whole thing. And I just say that we should, more so than ever before, we should really lift each other up and keep each other close. Well, social distancing, I was about to say keep each other close, but at this time, you can sit over there, we can FaceTime and kiki over the phone, and email. I know for me, I'm washing my hands more than ever. I'm probably never going to get to the point where I'm walking around with a surgical mask and wiping my whole body down with hand sanitizer every hour. Because a lot of y'all ran out and bought an excessive amount of both, causing the prices to go up, which leaves little poor old me I mean, I'm not well off, but I'm a little less than comfortable financially that I can't even get a surgical mask. And I'm not talking like one of the ones you see at Home Depot that barely covers your lips, and it's like it's open. It's like the soft sides, and it's white, and it barely covers your whole mouth. It's got that flimsy piece of that cotton wiring on it. I I can't get one though. I need one of those real deal surgical mask ones that you see in the hospital. But y'all done ran out and got so many of those. It ran the price up. Um, so I'm gonna stick to my house. Possibly do some more episodes and go from there. Um, I'm gonna be in this bitch for the rest of this week and next week. If I come up with some more inspiration, if I'm inspired a little bit more, I'll try to produce and keep up with that. Season 2 is coming soon. Season 2 will include video. I have a nice, cute little setup in the next room. Got a nice little camcorder, audio, did a little dry run with that just to make sure the staging was nice, the lighting was good. Wanted to see how good I, well, I mean, not that I'm vain or anything, but I wanted to see how I looked with this damn thing. Got my nice little tripod, a little remote control. Wanted to see, if it was catching the audio from a certain distance, and we're well on our way. Nice little, got a cute little budget, got some theme music, got some audio clips in the theme music, some sound effects or whatever. And got an open screen, beginning screen and a credit screen at the end. Little creativity's coming out. So be on the lookout for that. We got some more stuff coming down the pipe for you. I hope you enjoyed the last episode that I released. That was the very first episode with a special guest. I look forward to having Mr. Welch on more episodes as we go down this crazy road of the podcast life. We have about 4 or 5 more episodes coming that are already produced, but we're sitting on as we produce more and we get more on the mic and have, consult with other people, invite more people to come onto the podcast. The plan is to have, I think, 2 more guests this season, the first season. I haven't decided what the topics will be. It's just all a matter of scheduling. And then we'll go from there. So stay tuned and remember to subscribe. I see my subscribers are coming up in numbers and people are listening to the episodes and are indeed a great support system and inspiration. As long as you guys are listening or just curious, I will always be here. You can't get me to shut up anyway. Not behind these gold mics. So stay tuned and keep your ears peeled for some more content. This is Mr. Fox, and this has been the I Refuse podcast. See you guys next time.